You're tuned into Taiwan Grooves. Let's explore the local music scene. Hello and welcome to Taiwan Grooves. Today we'll conclude our interview with Maxwell Lee, a multi-instrumentalist, singer, and songwriter who is back to performing with various projects after nearly a decade. In the last episode, we explored Maxwell's musical background and its impact on different aspects of his life. We also discussed how it feels for him to return to playing music. In the first episode, we left it at how he mentioned a clever way to handle performance anxiety, which was to perform as much as possible, and mentioned a specific performance that I happened to be at. So we're going to pick it up from there.
Sometimes life can be funny like that. When you're least prepared, it pours. But I'll stand in the rain if it brings me to you. You're the one I'm most thankful for. When you say just laugh and don't reply. It's because I miss you more than words. No, I don't know how the story will end. I don't even know what is next, but I know this much, I can't stop thinking about you.
So
I also saw that you upgraded some songs. You kind of like pimped them up a little bit, gave them a little...
So what you've heard is sort of the unplugged version, and this is only because of that studio performance.
Right.
I was approached by Max, who runs the studio there, and a different Max, not me. and he specifically wants no drums. So it was just, we were like, okay, let's reinvent this without drums. And Axel and I were just playing together. And then, of course, we did end up bringing in John on he's not playing drums, but he's providing percussion with his mouth and beatboxing. That was how it originated, was that Axel just came to me with just his acoustic guitar, and we were like, all right, let's just do these songs, but just with the acoustic guitar. And then ended up playing a little bit of piano, and then we had John, like I said. So it grew from there, but that was the impetus for this different unplugged version. And Axel said to me at the very beginning that he felt like all bands should have sort of an acoustic version of the song. So I liked it. I liked that idea, and so that's what we've run with. But that said, I have a bunch of like full band shows coming up next month, and we still haven't rehearsed. So I'm like saying this tentatively. I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out, but I think we'll be doing much closer to the original recordings when we have the full band. Okay. So it was just a departure because of this sort of acoustic version.
It's good to have both versions because there's a little magic to it.
Yeah, I agree. I really liked how it turned out, and I do like having the different versions to present. Yeah.
All right. I would like to kind of dive into some of your work.
Okay.
Would you take me through perhaps some of the creation process or some inspiration that you produced a song from? Any song of your choice, because I saw I don't know if I'm allowed to share it. I saw one song was kind of like a proposal song, and I see a lot of your inspiration perhaps came from your love to your wife.
Yeah.
Would you like to just pick maybe perhaps the song and tell us how it came to be made?
To be honest, my initial reaction is that it's very uninteresting. It's just for the most part, most of my music is just in one moment. Like I just have some kind of thought or inspiration, and then And then I just write the song out, and there's like no story to it. It's just what happened. Usually I would say it'd be like in a day, like just in one sitting. I just, and so there's not a lot to describe about the process, but that's usually
it's your own personal subjective experience, so it's always interesting. It doesn't have to come from you saw a messiah or something. Something happened. It's your own experience from your own life, and that's already, I would say, interesting enough. Yeah.
I guess also I should go to the most recent song, because that's the one I can think of best, and that's the Chinese song "Without You," 如果没有你, which I finally finished for the studio recording, and so Max and I were talking about what songs I was going to perform, and then I felt like the Chinese song "Without You" would be a perfect sort of capstone, I guess, to the set. And so I was like, okay, I need to write it. So that's what I did, and it's somewhat forced and it was somewhat rushed, but I don't think it affected things in the end. So that song actually began when I was getting married, right before my wedding, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks before. I wanted to write a Cantonese song for my Cantonese wife or fiance. And so I just thought about a tune that I thought fit sort of like the little bit of canto pop that I was familiar with. And so I came up with this tune, this melody, and then I was so used to being able to write songs in one sitting, I guess, that I thought, okay, even though it was just a couple of weeks from the wedding, I thought, okay, I'll do it later and I'll be able to
well, but
to
that
write
was
a
in
song.
English, right? Have you ever written anything in Chinese?
No, I had not. So you're right. That is one hurdle, was that unlike all the songs before, I was going to write in a different language. So maybe like 2 weeks before the wedding, I reached out to one of our good friends, one of my wife's best friends, and then I also reached out to her cousin. And so both of them, like, native Cantonese speakers. So I was like kind of sort of crowdsourcing lyrics from them. And they sent me stuff. And so I was like, okay, I think maybe I can do this. And then the week of the wedding, I was going to start like trying to piece it together with all the Cantonese lyrics they sent me. And then, I was so naive, thinking that I'd have a lot of time the week of the wedding, and so like every day was just like packed with stuff that we had to do, and so then I just never got around to it, and so that was that was the end. I played the song for my wife later, like not at the wedding, but just afterwards. I played it sort of without words, and she liked it. She always told me that and this is sort of a compliment, but sort of a blessing curse kind of thing for me for all of my music. She was like, this is great, but I'm pretty sure it's already a Cantonese song. Like, it was just so familiar to her, and I think that's what I'm good at, is creating familiar sounding music, whether that's a good or bad thing. And so she always thought that this was that I must have subconsciously ripped it off. And so for like 10 years now, I've been like, can you think of what song it is? Because I'm nervous and worried about it too. But she tries, and she's like, yeah, actually, it just sounds like something, but it's not the same.
Just as a lot of music does.
Yeah.
Have you tried to Shazam it or something?
No, I haven't actually. So that was the origin of that song. And so finally, with the studio performance coming up, I was thinking, okay, it kind of sounds like a Mando pop song too. So, all right, let me try to write something in Mandarin, and my wife helped a lot with that. It's kind of funny. So she ended up writing lyrics for her own song. And as I was doing that, I guess let's see, I talked to Axel about it. I came up with a little melody, the intro melody to that song on the piano, but then when Axel came to play it for the first time, he started playing it on the guitar, and I felt like it's so much cooler on the guitar, so had him do it instead. And then we just kind of worked out that it would fit well if just the guitar was playing by itself for most of the song. So that's what we ended up doing. I feel like this song is a little different from other pop songs in that it feels like it can't have a steady beat. I don't know, that's just the way I feel about it. Like the melody needs to wander a bit. So in classical, we call it rubato, where we kind of steal time from one part of a phrase and then give the time back in another part. So it doesn't really follow a click. And as I'm thinking about the future, I think I want to record this in the studio, and I'm wondering how that's going to work out. But yeah, it kind of wanders. There's just guitar and vocals, and I like that feel. And then towards the end, I guess at the very end, I also like how the piano takes over that melody. So those are the things that were important to me, that the guitar started that sort of, I feel like it's a lonely sounding melody, and then the piano takes it over at the end and it sounds even more lonely. But to get to that transition, we kind of have like a swell. So far, we were doing that with just the acoustic guitar and piano. If we do a full band version, I'm not exactly sure how that will shake out. But yeah, it's nice to build it up, and then it ends sort of very uncertain and lonely again. I don't know. I don't think that's a focal point of the song, because that's not exactly what the lyrics are about. But I do like how the lyrics are very sort of confident, but then there is sort of a question about what the future will be still. So it's like confident, but then we're still always uncertain about the future. So
thank you. That's perfect interpretation.
Yeah. I am curious. And then so like in this version that you've heard with the guitar and piano, I think it's kind of missing something with the swell. So I'm hoping we can figure that out with the full band to make it fit better. But yeah, that's where we're at. So
very good.
扔掉地图，当我跟你在一起，我不怕迷路。原以为不可以，当我们走着走着，还是到达目的地。如果没有你，我不会在这里。你已经给了我翱翔的勇气，我会永远跟你在一起，每次搬家都变得更好。如果没有你，我就没有力气。我跌倒后站起来，并继续去。跟你学到了永不放弃，惊讶的是我竟再不怕跌倒。成为彼此的港湾，走遍世界然后升吧，我们达到了台湾。找到完美的地方，让我们的家庭茁壮地成长。如果没有你，我不会在这里。你已经给了我翱翔的勇气，我会永远跟你在一起，每次搬家都变得更好。如果没有你，我就没有力气。我跌倒后站起来，并继续去，跟你学到了永不放弃。惊讶的是我竟再不怕跌倒。 有你在身边，我再不怕变老。Thank you.
I'll just have a couple more questions for you.
Oh, okay.
Now, all right, then I would like to know, and listeners would like to know, I believe, what is the next step for Project Maximus? So you said already you're going to focus on making it work with the full band. What about, are you going to re-record a lot of stuff? Do you plan to record new stuff in 2025? Do you plan to perform existing stuff even more? What's the plan?
I don't know. I don't have any preconceived, like, this is what I need to do, this is what needs to happen. With the Project Maximus stuff, I just want to start playing with the full band. So we're going to, like I said, have the first show in March or next month. And once we do that, maybe I'll start to feel like, okay, this is going well. We can do like these types of shows or something else. I don't know. But I'm just kind of rolling with it. I am doing, I play with Lance in a project we call Hive Mind. And you saw that.
That sounded amazing as well.
Yeah, that really took on a life of its own once we brought in the saxophone.
But I heard he's not around.
Yeah, but he's coming back though. So
wasn't he back just for like the holiday? Or?
Correct, but because he's in college, but he's graduating in the spring, and then he'll be back full time in Taipei. So
very good.
That was something that was sort of just a fun side project that Lance and I kind of did together, and we weren't sure where it was going to go, but I think now with the sax we feel like we can do some cool things with it. So that's another project that I'm curious to see where that goes. And again, no set intention in mind, but it's just something to have. And I really enjoy playing those because it's an outlet for me for like more interesting experimental sounds, which is what I used to, like I said, I did all genres when I was younger, and I did stuff like that too. So while I love doing my really sort of mainstream pop music, I kind of feel like there's an itch that isn't being scratched when I do that. And so that's something that Hive Mind is kind of working out. I also play in a band called Electric Monk. I don't know if you've heard of them. Kyle and
Electric Monk. Why did I hear this name before?
They've been around. Kyle's been doing it for like many years.
How many people?
It's a 4-piece, but before me, and then when I joined, they added me to do like piano and strings, so it's like sort of extra stuff. And actually, I play guitar with them too on a couple songs where it's needed. So that one is fun for me because it's just a chance for me to not do a lot of thinking and just play. And I get to play violin, I get to play keys, I get to play guitar, like I said. So that's what gets me, and plus I like the music too, but that's what gets me excited about continuing to do that. I had a project with John, my beatboxer, where we were just doing instrumental lo-fi music. We call that Ai Mao Yuan. And we put out an EP on Spotify for that. That's AIMAOYUAN. So there's other things. And then I've been playing, like, there's a few singers that I do some stuff. Lili Greenberg, I don't know if you've come across her.
Not yet.
She's an amazing singer, but she's only going to be here temporarily. Like, she's been here for about close to a year, and she's staying for a few more months. But we wrote some songs together, and she's just a fantastic singer and performer. And actually, I bring Lily up. I should just give her some credit. She actually was the one who got me, I don't know how I say it, like, I wrote music again for the first time in 10 years with her. Like, obviously I was planning to start writing music again, but I just didn't. There's a little bit of a hesitation. And then when she joined me, we started co-writing some stuff together, and that was what got me doing it finally. So yeah, there's just a lot of other things that I enjoy doing, and so it's hard for me to say exactly what the path will be because I'm trying different things out.
I mean, going from 8-10 year hiatus to having a lot of project where you're obviously having fun is already a huge improvement, I would say.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's great.
It definitely is. And even when I was really, quote unquote, pursuing a career in music 12-13 years ago, I don't think I was at all. I feel like where I am right now is much more fulfilling, and I'm doing a lot more than I was back then. Maybe memory has kind of faded a little bit, but I don't think I ever had so many things going on that I enjoyed so much. So
I'm pretty sure at this point you enjoyed the performance, whereas before it was kind of a little pressuring. So
that's also true. Yeah.
That already. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Cool. Nice. One question, kind of unrelated, if I may ask. You are a proud father of 2 now?
Yes.
2 boys?
2 boys, yeah.
Do you teach them music?
Good question. I don't. So when they were little, I was just getting back into music, as I kind of mentioned, and they would be around me and we would just kind of tinkle on the keyboard together. I would always ask if they wanted me to teach them. And granted, like I said, in my mind, I was also not back into music myself yet, so it was a little tentative. But I was asking if they wanted me to teach them. I would try to give them a little introduction into things, and they weren't very interested at the time. They wanted to kind of mess around on their own, but they weren't interested in instruction of any kind. So that was what happened originally. And then when we moved to Taiwan, we always planned, okay, we'll find teachers for them. And we did. They both are learning both violin and piano right now. So that's going well. And now that they have other teachers, they really take to sort of those teachers. They like their teachers. And then I am able to sort of help when they need help, when there's something that they're struggling with during the week. They ask me and I'll play things with them. So I think this is the best setup. A lot of times musicians who are parents will have this struggle to teach their kids. So it's not uncommon. I think maybe in the future they might be able to be open to more instruction from me, but if it, I don't need to do that. So if they're doing well without me, that's fine. And then actually on this trip to Malaysia last month, my older son he got the chance to play drums on a friend's drum set, and he was really having fun. And not only that, he was actually way better at it than I thought he would be for the first time, just first time ever sitting in a drum kit. He was actually able to hit a beat and do some things, and I was so surprised. And he really liked it. So I was like, okay, maybe we can think about doing drums in the future.
Maybe he found his itch.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I don't really have credit to talk about parenting, but I'm positively sure that now, with your experience and wisdom, you will not be the parent to push them into you're gonna be the performer. I never was, but I'm pretty sure you'll be more like a guide, be like, hey, music should be fun. If you want to create, if you want to do this, if you want to do this, it's all good.
Yeah.
As long as you're enjoying it.
Yeah. I definitely, that's the mindset I have. I definitely kind of struggle with the balance because I think you mentioned at the very beginning, kind of having somebody force you to do it could also be a good thing too in the long run. And so I struggle with that balance because I don't at all want to force them, but then maybe there's some good to it. So where my wife and I have fallen, at least at this point, is that we're gonna require them, if they want to quit, then they still have to continue for the rest of the semester. They can't quit in the middle of the semester. So they have to, if that is sort of a temporary feeling that they don't want to do it anymore, they still have to stick with their commitment. And then at the end of that year, at that term, then they can decide if they still don't want to do it anymore. And so that's kind of where we're at. So
I see. Yeah. Okay, I think I have very last question for you. And that question would be, if you can pick either a message, if there's ever a time machine, to your past self, or to any starting musicians, anybody who is playing, let's say, piano and violin and is trying to transition perhaps to something of their own, or they're trying to pursue classical, whatever it is, would you have any advice for listeners?
Well, I guess I can speak to my past self. I do that a lot when I think about the music journey. And so for somebody who is in that same sort of situation, that has that same feeling, I wish that I wasn't afraid to just put myself out there. I think that was one of my largest obstacles when I was younger, was that I didn't want to fail at something. I didn't want to be rejected. And so I always just did what I was most comfortable with. Like, I would take on projects. I would say yes to the things that I knew I could do and do well. But I would say no to a lot of things that I wasn't sure if I could do. And I just wish I stretched myself and pushed myself outside of my comfort zone. And that means like being the singer and leading a band. That means sending my music out to more places, because I think you have to get through a few rejections to find success. Almost everyone has to. Very few people
in anything.
Yeah. So I just but I was just so, that was just my mentality back then. So it wasn't to me, it wasn't an option. And then now I just feel like, what was wrong with me? Because it really is so freeing to not worry so much about what other people think or how you present yourself. Like just do your best and see what happens. So I wish I had done that. I wish I had really tried harder, had been more willing to put myself out there as a performer, as a singer, or even as a songwriter, which I was doing. But I wish I'd put myself in more situations rather than just the few that I knew I could do. So yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. So don't be afraid. I guess that's the takeaway. It was a long rambling thing, but to remember one thing, just don't be afraid. If this is what you want, just don't be afraid. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to talking to you.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.